Hello and welcome to Wholeness and Wellness Counseling. My name is Tracie Rogers and today I'm here with one of my colleagues, Akilah Riley-Richardson.
Hi.
And a few weeks ago, Akilah, you wrote a blog post about dealing with sabotage in family relationships. So that's what we're talking about in a short video. So what really inspired you to write this piece?
I think it was witnessing what was happening in relationships around me, both my professional and personal life, and just coming to a different understanding of the reality of family relationships. A lot of us think that family relationships are supposed to be these incredibly safe spaces where you can be who you are and feel loved, etc. And for many of us and for many clients we have in our practice, that's not the reality.
And we are really fed that.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up watching television, and this idea of this ideal family and your siblings, you have rivalry, but you're trusted, and this is this place that's supposed to nurture us. So I think there's sometimes two levels of the pain that you get in these kind of relationships. Number one is if your family relationship is not working for you and you feel it's hurting you, but then you almost feel guilty or you feel something is wrong with you because you don't have the family that you're supposed to have. So it's what's happening and it's how you beat yourself up because of what you think is supposed to be happening.
And I think sometimes that is what immobilizes us. That narrative we have with what a family is supposed to be. When we don't experience it, a lot of us have a hard time accepting it and sometimes walking away when we need to walk away.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in my professional work as well. People who are stuck in abusive or not necessarily abusive but very painful relationships, but because they think, I should be this way with my mother or my father or my child or whatever, right? That's why they have a very, very hard time making a change in relationship. Now I want to clarify what that means. Making a change doesn't necessarily mean you want to end the relationship, because you can, that's an option for you, but another option is that you could just change the nature of the relationship.
So before we get into how to deal with family relationships that are not working, let's talk a little bit about what that pain sometimes looks like. I think you touched on it a little bit. Like some of our family relationships could be abusive, and could be verbally abusive. Sometimes if you grew up in a family, with a culture where there's a lot of peacock and heckling, and it's really hurting you, but you're supposed to take it and you're supposed to be okay. So I think verbal abuse shows up a lot. Emotional abuse.
Physical abuse, especially this culture, abuse, where we have a lot of some parents now struggle with the 21st century child, 21st century teen, who's very aware of her or his rights and will grow up into that kind of adult and will challenge them later on. But because it goes against the culture of the family. The culture of the family is one where I can speak to you a particular way, deal with you a particular way, treat your body, your mind, your soul in a particular way. And when you challenge that, it feels like, I think you yourself have a hard time, I should say, challenging that. You do sometimes then locate the problem within yourself as opposed to the family itself. Because you're the different one, and it's hard sometimes to even walk away from that. Sometimes it's hard to walk away too, because let's be honest, if you were to walk away, and of course I want to stress, walk away doesn't necessarily mean end, it could just mean change. It should be nature of the relationship. I think it's dealing with the loneliness, or the fear of the loneliness, the fear of being isolated, etc. Like a lot of us have a hard time standing up in our families and speaking our truth because we don't want to be isolated.
Yeah.
We don't want to be labeled the different one.
Troublesome one.
Yeah. I think even in when I look at even in my own family, sometimes you realize who are the people who are different, who make statements and say this is not working for me, and you see how they sometimes can be looked at like what's wrong with you?
So a big part of taking this step is being able to make boundaries, to able to say these are my limitations, this is what's acceptable and not acceptable for me. And you said it twice, and I think we really want to underscore that. No one's saying that because you have a relationship that's not working, you want to break it off.
No.
We're not saying that. But I think definitely when you move from being a child to an adult, you have the right, you know yourself, and you have the right to lay down those boundaries. So we're going to close there in this video, but please join us for a follow-up video when we talk about some very specific things that you can do today to start creating boundaries in family relationships that are hurting you. Thanks so much for joining us.